New Zealand is an amazing land of contrast, beauty and adventure. If you were ever thinking of visiting New Zealand, you really should.
To help you on your visit, we've interviewed tourists from around the world and compiled these top 7 things New Zealand tourists wish they'd known before visiting.
Some things are exactly like you'd expect. Driving in New Zealand is like anywhere. You've got to have your current driver's licence and you've got to wear your seatbelt when you're driving.
Obviously, you're not allowed to drive while drunk, and the driver can't use their phone while driving.
New Zealand drives on the left side of the road. If you're from one of these countries, this means everything is going to be reversed for you. To help you out, some intersections have signs pointing to which side of the road you should be on. If you get confused and spot one of these, follow it.
A useful guide is that the driver should be closest to the centre line. If there is a passenger seat between you and the centre of a two-way street, pull over and reorient yourself.
Most road signs are self-explanatory. This is the speed limit, road construction, no stopping, no parking, and this side means you can drive up to the national speed limit of 100 kilometres per hour.
Hang on, that looks like a very narrow bridge ahead. This is a one-lane bridge, and it has a specific set of rules in order to be crossed safely.
If the large arrow points ahead, then you have the right of way, and as long as nobody is already on the bridge, then you may cross. Obviously, if someone is already crossing the bridge, then you've got to wait for them as they have nowhere else to go.
If the small arrow points ahead, then you do not have the right of way, and it is your responsibility to wait until all oncoming cars have crossed. A couple of bridges in New Zealand also share the road with trains. As you can imagine, the train always has the right of way.
Half of the 1,500 railway crossings in New Zealand have alarm bells just like these. However, for the other half, you need to slow down and check it's clear before proceeding. There are around 24 collisions per year between trains and motor vehicles on public road crossings in New Zealand.
This sign indicates an upcoming roundabout, which is a round intersection that works a bit like a flowing four-way stop. Since all traffic moves in a circle, you need to check to your right to determine when it is safe to proceed.
When turning left, indicate left and turn as you would at a normal intersection. If you're turning right, indicate right as you enter the roundabout clockwise, then indicate left as you prepare to exit. If you're going straight, only indicate when you're about to exit. In the case of a two-lane roundabout, both lanes can often go straight, but you'll need to be in the right lane if you're turning right and the left lane if you're turning left.
Great! Now that we know how to safely navigate the country, where should we go?
Tourists often struggle to see all the sites they wish during their trip, simply because the sites are spread out across all of the country. Locations that appear close on the map can actually be quite far away due to extreme terrain and the winding roads. Most of New Zealand is countryside, so be sure to fill up the petrol tank and the grocery bags whenever you get a chance.
Grocery stores in New Zealand are like those in most Western countries. They stock staple foods such as coffee, cereal, noodles, eggs, bread, beer and wine.
Shopping at a supermarket can also be far less expensive than buying the same items at a dairy or a convenience store. When paying at a petrol station or a grocery store, you may be asked if you have coupon or flybys. If you don't know what they are, you don't have them, so just say no. The answer to the question credit or EFTPOS is a little bit trickier. EFTPOS is everywhere in New Zealand, but it's incompatible with most overseas debit and credit card PIN systems. You're welcome to try using your debit card or credit card PIN number, but don't be too surprised if it doesn't work. The most reliable method is to use your credit card, and when asked PIN or sign, you choose sign or press enter on the terminal, then sign your receipt.
Many small cafes, takeaway shops and small town shops only accept EFTPOS. Your credit card will not work with them, and you will need to carry some cash if you hope to buy anything off the beaten track.
When eating out in New Zealand, know that tipping is not mandatory, and it is not rude to simply pay the total amount on the bill.
If you're driving and someone at the side of the road waves at you like this, that is a New Zealand indicator that there is a road hazard just ahead, so slow down.
Farmers are required by law to put up signs that they are moving animals on the road. Ideally, this would be flashing lights, but it can be as little as a bit of cardboard with the word stop painted on it. If you see a stop sign, slow down and keep an eye out for animals. If the road is completely blocked, simply stay on your side of the road and slowly drive past or through the herd.
Above all, enjoy the moment as you are now officially experiencing life in New Zealand.
If a moving tractor is blocking the road, slow down and wait to safely pass. Farmers will usually drive to the side of the road when it's safe, or at least give you enough of a view to make a good passing decision. Don't panic, just wait until you're sure it's safe to pass and carry on.
For the same reasons, if you're driving a camper van and are holding up traffic behind you, look for safe areas to pull over and allow people to pass.
Since driving can be long and challenging, be sure to take plenty of rest stops and never drive tired. Also stop every now and again to enjoy the awesome scenery.
Right, you've been sightseeing all day and you need a place to sleep.
In tourist towns, there will always be an assortment of fully serviced campgrounds, motels, cabins and backpackers, but advanced booking is often needed during the summer tourist season.
When you enter a town, keep a lookout for signs leading to eyesights, which offer tourist information and a free local map of the area.
The Department of Conservation operate over 200 awesome campsites around New Zealand that are great value for money and often in beautiful locations. Most of these sites are between $6 and $10 per person per night.
A versatile and popular tourist option is hiring a camper van. This gives you the freedom to travel where you wish and sleep as late as you like. Also, a self-contained camper van will give you a toilet whenever you need one.
Be aware though that by having the ability to pull up and camp wherever you like does not give you the right to. Many councils have laws against roadside camping. If you park in the wrong area or on private land, you may find yourself waking up to an angry knock on the window and the risk of a fine.
To avoid this, you should know what the freedom camping rules are for the region you're staying in and where the designated camping locations are.
For the technically savvy, you can download the New Zealand travel app Campermate for your smartphone. It shows designated free campsites, dump stations, public toilets, laundromats, petrol stations, eyesights, free Wi-Fi spots and even grocery stores located all over New Zealand. And best of all, Campermate is completely free. Obviously, the best way to see more of New Zealand is to stay longer.
The number one wish of tourists is that they could have spent more time taking the country in.
So, welcome to New Zealand. Be sure to get a great night's sleep because you aren't going to want to miss a moment of your time here.
Hey guys, another great day here at Cardrona. We're going to show you a bit about chain fitting today. I like to keep mine handy right here in the back of the car. Super easy to get to and yeah, they're all ready to go.
It's always a good idea when you're still at your hotel to get your chains out of the boot. Make sure that they're in good working order, and if you haven't fit chains before, this is a really good time to try.
Sometimes pulling them out of a bag, you may find that your chains might have a bit of a knot. So this one is good to go. And here's an example of a bit of chaos. So it can require a little bit of patience, but they're reasonably easy to untangle. You can pop the mech here, and again, just like a little bit of a shake, and they should come out to be hanging like that. This is a short side and a long side. So I take the long side, keep that on the left, push the short side under the wheel. So take the two end pieces, bring them up high above the wheel and hook it together at the top. Okay, once you've got the top piece hooked up, the next piece to hook up is the coloured tag in the front, to the opposite side, and then push the chains over the back so they're sitting nice and even. And then grab these two lower pieces. You'll see there's a chain and then a hooking point on the opposite side, so those need to connect. Now you've got this piece hooked up, just putting a bit of tension onto that. And then most systems will have a couple of loops or tabs, so you put your chain through those loops or hook your tabs up. And this piece here is elasticated. So this elasticated piece you pull up high and hook in. And to this point you've actually done your fitting correctly, but your chains are still going to be a little loose. Okay, so once you've fitted your chains, you just need to roll forwards about 10 metres, and that's going to loosen the chains off, and then you can go back into retention. Once you've rolled forward, just jump out, grab hold of your chain, give it a retension, and your elasticated piece, just get it up as high as you can, and you're safe to go.
The mountain roads in New Zealand are all part of the alpine adventure. There's really nothing to be afraid of, especially if you're well prepared. One of the best things you can do is get a four-wheel drive like this. It's very rare that you have to put chains to them. At the end of the day, hopefully the road would have cleared enough for you to take your chains off. So here are a few tips for making the process super easy. So the first step is to untension your chain. You want to make sure that the tensioning chain is completely free, so make sure that you feed it through the loops or unhook it. A couple of tips for the ladies. I really suggest you go out and buy a cheap pair of gardening gloves. It doesn't matter if you get them dirty, and they've got really, really good grip, and they also protect your nails. Another thing that's really handy is a can of de-icer. You can get this from your gas station, and it really helps if you get the inside hookup jammed with snow and ice. Rather than messing around, you just spray it on, give it a few seconds, and it'll pop open.
Okay, so the next step, get your hooking tab at the top unhooked. Don't drop your chains. You can drop one side, and that gives you access to the rear hookup piece. And then you can pop the rear hookup piece and drop the chains down. So you won't be able to get your chains out from underneath the tyre because the car's on. So you just need to jump in, reverse back a metre, and that'll free them up.
So guys, fitting chains is as easy as that. So be safe out there, be prepared, and enjoy your trip to Cadrona.
In the compacts, there is a kneel pad. Place your knees on this foam. Then unzip the bag and remove your product. Fitting instructions can be folded out with your tips and guidelines on the back and your fitting instructions on the front. Separate the two chains for each wheel. Make sure that they are untangled. Hooking back the cam lever like so will make sure that it won't get caught up on the back of the tyre. Then you want to keep the coloured washers on the ends at the top. With the coloured washers at the top, place on the ground beside the tyre. Next, we are going to rotate both side hoops around the tyre. Then we're going to take the hook in the long link chain and connect at the top of the tyre. This will hold the chains in place over the tyre. When you are fitting the chains the first time at home, connect it to the very end link, and then we want to adjust accordingly. You do not want to have this long link chain flapping around the inside of your wheel guard. Pull the other two halves to the front. Connect the hook onto the side chain and center the chains over the tyre. Then we want to adjust the side chain, reducing the gap at the top of the wheel. Chains should be sitting around the wheel like so. Check to see none of the chain links are twisted. Finally, we want to release the cam lever like so. Then we're going to grab the side link chain and tension and lock into place. Move the vehicle forward 1 to 2 car lengths and tension until very tight. You should not be able to get your fingers under the chain. To remove the snow chains, first release the cam lever, pull back against the purple tube and slide the chain, the cam lever. Remove the hook at the top, and finally release the hook inside the wheel so that you can safely drive the vehicle over the chains and put them away in the bag. Snow Sweat Snow Chains, proudly designed and manufactured right here in New Zealand for over 25 years. Start by taking the chains out of the bag. Kneel on the bag, open the bag, pull out your fitting instructions with your safety information, fitting tips and guidelines. Next, hold the chains up, making sure they hang freely and the chains are not twisted. Start with the coloured washers at the top. Now take the chains and rotate them around behind the wheel. Rotate them around until the coloured washers are at the front of the tyre. Now take the ends with the coloured washers around behind the tyre and connect at the top. Always adjust the chains at the back of the tyre first. In this case, we want to be on the third link. So I'm going to retension the chains onto the third link. Take both side hoops and rotate one full revolution around the axle. Around the axle until the black band is at the top. Take the side hoop with the black band and pull forward. Center the chains around the wheel. Take the side chain in one hand and the cam lever in the other. Select the chain link, place over the cam lever and tension cam lever until tight, secure into place with the side hoop. Make sure the side loop is securely fastened on the cam lever before moving the vehicle. Move the vehicle forward 1 to 2 car lengths and retension cam lever until very tight. Check that chains are so tight your fingers cannot get under the chain links. To remove the Easy Fit chains, start by releasing the cam lever off the side loop. Remove the side tensioning chain. Now we want to put the chains back behind the wheel and rotate chains around the axle until the coloured washers are back at the top. Disconnect the side chain at the back of the tyre. Allow the chains to fall down behind the wheel. Drive over the chains. Do it to the wheel on the other side. Don't forget to collect your chains. Snow Sweat Snow Chains, proudly designed and manufactured right here in New Zealand for over 25 years.
I know a place where the runs are pristine, where mountains call your name, where all dreams convene. I know a place that takes breaths away, where the child inside can come out to play. There's a place where spirits are let loose to roam. And if this sounds like you, it's a place that's called home. Welcome to Queenstown, the home of winter.
To the explorers, the curious among us, Seek the place that invites you to delve deeper. Where you'll discover your what if, far beyond your bucket list. Leave your mark without leaving a trace. And forge your connection to our people, our place. It all begins in Queenstown.